So we got a comment here from Sergeant Moorhugh, says, let's go UNLV. And that's actually the program that we're going to be talking about next here on Group Chat Football Live, as they've been making a lot of moves here with Dan Mullen. We spoke about them yesterday, adding Jake Pope, the safety from Georgia, and they've made another addition here in the secondary. Another former SEC guy, as he started his career at LSU. Guy from Lafayette, Louisiana, was the number 12 player in the state of Louisiana coming out of high school in 2022 and played last year as the third cornerback for Arizona State. Laterrance Welch is headed to Las Vegas to play for the UNLV Rebels. This is a guy with some length, 6'1", 195. Played a lot last year for Arizona State. Tough incident, though, as he after their not a bowl win, but their rivalry game win against Arizona, stole a teammate's watch and went to go pawn it off, was arrested. Shortly thereafter, the watch was valued at $30,000. So, and it was a teammate's watch. So I think that he was immediately kicked off the team there. Arizona State didn't have him for the rest of the year, and that was December 2nd. So they didn't have him for their Big 12 championship game, and then they did not have them for the playoffs either, and he was their number 3 corner. But UNLV taking a chance on a guy here, again, third school for him, former big recruit. You have to think that the conversation between him and Dan Mullen was, look, this is your last real opportunity here, and you can't mess it up.
Yeah, it's first of all, my big takeaway is $30,000 for a college kid's watch. I mean, times have changed. I've never seen a $30,000 watch. Maybe I have, I didn't notice. But defensive tackles and corners to me are kind of similar in that it's a traits position, right? And those traits typically go to the Southeastern Conference, right? You talk about corners and defensive tackles. Those are the highly rated guys that go to those conferences because there's not that many corners that are over 6'1" with that kind of athleticism. There's not that many defensive tackles that are over 300 pounds with a certain level of athleticism. So those guys not only go to the SEC typically, at least to start, but they get a lot of chances because those physical traits are so hard to get. You look at Dan Mullen, he's from the SEC, of course, Mississippi State, then Florida. He's been around this kind of thing, right? This is not a new thing for him, I am sure, as much as it is unusual to us listening to it. So he's been around this, and I think he's comfortable with it. I'm sure he's done his homework. And you look at what he's done in the portal. You got, of course, Mullen has the experience at Florida, both as an offensive coordinator and then later the head coach, and then in the SEC in general with Florida, Mississippi State. So what does he do? He goes to what he's familiar with. Start with 2 Power 4 guys that are originally from the state of Florida, in Calandria, the quarterback, and Glover, the running back from Utah. Calandria originally from University of Virginia. So 2 Florida guys, Glover, I believe, from Lakeland, Calandria from the St. Pete area, Tampa Bay, that whole Bay Area in the west coast of Florida. So areas that Mullen recruited while he was at Florida, and they're both Power 4 credentialed players. Then SEC, where he spent most of his career. Elksness, tight end from South Carolina. Nick Elksness. JoJo Earl, wide receiver originally from Alabama. Ben Chrisman, offensive lineman from Kentucky. And Earl transferred to TCU after, but signed with Alabama. Vercaeus Gums, tight end from Arkansas. So really all of the guys that he's added either have SEC experience or from the state of Florida originally and Power 4 kids. Of course, now Laterrance Welch, originally from LSU. So I think that's a theme you're seeing with Mullen's recruiting class from the portal, is that he's getting guys that are from areas he's familiar with, where he knows the caliber of athlete he's getting. And he's trying to increase the traits of this program, because you get the right traits in the building, he's going to be able to call plays. And as the program's profile increases, we've talked about it a million times on here, Pete, we are very bullish on the future of this program because we just have a lot of confidence in Mullen as a play caller. It's sort of a sleeping giant in terms of the location, and the quality of football in the Southwest has increased tremendously since I've been following. The best program in the country, from my view, is Bishop Gorman, which is right there close to campus. So, some of those guys are going to go to bigger schools, but you can get them on the transfer market. Plus you can get the guys that are just really good football players that maybe don't have the dimensions to go to those big schools from a Gorman. So this program is in a position to succeed. I think Mullen's trying to just fast track the body types in the room so he can call plays with SEC caliber athletes.